filoti mi yalon ko wolem committee nyim fontate nga surprise visit le kajang mi yalon ko be sirin mara karola nga surprise visit nala tele jibe Brufut Stars football filo do ngalon ko do ku jama kete jam bot first be wato nyindi la fulani mole nyo kon donc jannim force me dum nakacha
social media follow ka especially ka football kiwaro no albadi malam Alagie Cherno Suwareh Barakabake and welcome to Brufut.
Alhaji abarakabake nga kontong nga tentu bake drong nga jayi bayri komi nga fo nyamen drong bi mune fo motivate in the last year pour kaje ko kanaka place o nyene mun kara Brufut sports or Brufut youth and sports development association or committee pour la president
2000 Canada. Despite that it has passed through great leaderships likes of Max Jallo, likes of Bakari Gay, Farmer Canada, Alamin Basir Boja Wall, Bajabi Wall, Bakifati were all footballer. Then it was really difficult at first to accept the position, looking at how sometimes I'm available in the country because sometimes I'm a frequent traveler due to my job schedule and most likely official business. But it was like yes, my committee needs my service from the PRO as a VDC in 2017 and 2019. Then now this one came in. If there are damages, like always in one of angels to come or jinns to come. So I realized that Brufut the problem of Brufut then exactly. Then from
Janni Bina it was a little bit rough. Janni from Bina chairman.
Janni Kanana Kadumo Konola Pisalo Daman is evident by people saying Brufut football is dead. However, I think Amalfa Atata enter perhaps in Safano or in a state Mialang and need maximum support for stand again. So on that when we or less than 35,000, I think to be specific, less than $35,000 is in the account, which was how big Brufut is and working with that. And also, the constitution also where exists is not up to modern standard. Excuse stands with those who have played great role in creating it, but during the time you create, it was near compare with Walla, Iba Tesla come like Amanke Santa. Walla can having Kitao from Walla, Pano Conola, Luado Narana is Wokola, Odol, Yompra Walla, equally to Constitution, Iba Jamano Min Conola, maybe what the Constitution I may produce this year would be not up to par in the next 5 years. They may address it, or maybe next 50 years, next 20 years. Also, some administrative needs like stationaries like and to recover some materials like jerseys and so work at a challenge level. In short, I also say we are living in a sport of desert. Few place labor oasis jela jimin la jela. So I want to come and change the narrative to a Kabiri young approach.
Inaraka Brufut Youth and Sports Development Committee la chairman and also ila executive the rest of the executive members ila set up nyinkara where they also on oppose small me and panel on oppose for it all fanang molle electoral kana office or wanya.
Yeah, thank God the stakeholders responsible for bringing in new executive like nominated by or by vote is the team representative, and thanks so much that they gave me the opportunity. One last when I accepted, after the discussions, when I finally accepted it, there are some members that mentioned I would like to work with. Looking at their credibility, looking at how they have been working, and looking at how much they will help me to compare my activities with the previous one. And luckily I had that chance that they also came in as one of us.
The committee was definitely celebrated. Kabrinata into office. Brufut Nkolia believe this was a turning point because at some point Mojama you talk to them outside, in and outside Brufut will tell you basically most of our fatally. But sign then Alagie Natala Kamunda Kuna football nyimbe wulila kan kotenge. So on that note, one other sabu Brufut Jamaila Nani ya celebrate at the time. Mune atina ya feel football at the time. Ya believe ko sign na football on abe bulla kono mi alon nako abe nyato tas lola.
What is a very important question. Talking with a seasonal journalist or especially someone who understands the job very well, come nane chola man wo no back like diamuna ko minke, but there are evidence of actions. Perhaps you must have seen Brufut football ka nyami nanu ni mulna kana game je mulna ngam minka fintina and science and energy ngam minka finta ka siale. So one of the things na minje una min kele wolong when I came in I decided to work on reconciliation and also to process our activities on how to attract people to come back in. I empowered media, being a journalist, media empowered and I work on visibility. I opened door corridors so that we will welcome communications, and never did I block media to come and investigate us or to come and access information from us and also to cover. Some of them, in fact, even I give them bounty of reward in terms of financial, so they will be more willing to come again. So with those, and sometimes myself, I'll be going to the crowd like a video and share with the PROK assist because I'm a media person and I understand how to work with it. So I help in to chip in to work as a team. I never take it as I'm the boss, so I will not work, I will sit back. I was like trying to join whenever necessary to assess local energy. So luckily, it motivated people, and other one will be like more coming for will be trust in me.
Okay, you had a successful Brufut summer in your first time in office, barely after spending a little over 1 year into office, and then also you Brufut Samba West Coast Zonals Dami Alonoko Ali final on in play. Work at a friend me Alonoko, Mojama believed at the time of Brufut football on you follow to know the Dami Mosa Murunda Angela Wallako is on the verge of reaching that position. So Kabrin you'll make it a more not a chicken Alagie to success in the Alagie Nala team or having a successful Brufut summer. Also that very year, you Brufut Samba West Coast Zonal or Dami Alonko team on Samba to the final.
Yeah, number of motivation. We have set so many things that would motivate players to go for it. Like Nyaja, one of the famous one is giving 50,000, pledging 50,000 to the players if they reach to the zonals final. Pledging 1,000 for a man of the match award, wherein previously sometimes 50 is given to players to go home. So it was more like a business for players, and most of these players don't careers outside from football. So you make them happy financially, they will make you happy in the game. And also I make sure I listen. If I come to the game, I hardly watch 5 minutes correctly. I have to take round in the field, but I can feedback what people would say, and I was listening, giving credit to whatever it is said, and make sure I value the statements. So that's what I used, and also relying on people who work with the previous executive to support our weak areas. We capitalized not to repeat the same mistakes, and from there also I made value of the team representatives, and most especially the senior categories, that is the technical team. Whatever I do, I make sure I seek consultation with them to ask advice, and also chairman of other regions. I was calling them to seek advice with them. Whatever decision I make sure I verify it to up to par, then it proceeds.
You made mention of match bonuses and also some incentive to the player. How productive was this? Player and also the technical team for advancements.
To be honest with you, it is one of the ways that we got to the final. It was not magic. It was not. The talent is in there, but then they need to be hungry. When I watched the first game against Lamen, Jam Fatal, you didn't see any open space because of crowd Minatana, and we lost to the game. Perhaps in Malongo there are bonuses in there. We played with Foni, and when I saw talent, I saw hungry people, but it's not coming. So I thought of what could bring this was, let me inject them. I went to the dressing room halftime against Foni. I told them, if you have a win for this game, there's this pledge for you. When they came back to the game, it was like watching Barcelona against, let's say, Birkama United. I saw the energy in there. So from there, Ali and the Manalango come like, if there is enough money for this, they will push it. So the third game, I gave a pledge. Man of the match, $1,000 is left, and then each will have this as a bonus is left. First 10 minutes, the game is done. We scored 2 goals. By 29 minutes left, the game's fate has already been desired. So this has been motivating people down. They knew they are playing football, not for fun only, but football for commercial or football for business. Then they amplified their effort, reaching us to the final. And then
we talk to some sports chairpersons. Yamra mankila Brigamangol babale ko Brufut ngol nada yala pour ngela moro nga kundunku.
Ya dama jama Brufut ngol. They will always tell me Nana Njane Karandi.
Yeah.
Well, it's an Oyadia. Despite my age, they are never tried to listen to me. West Coast Region, the chairman, also doing, is it intellectual theft? Not stealing their content, but watching Punda East, Bakau, Brikama, and other leagues, like what they are posting on their social media. Are we? And sometimes I will force myself to go watch games. When I see the way they are doing it, I try to bring it in. And this was.
Mr. Suwareh, if there is any success or challenge, not for success, or challenge you face as the chairman in your first time in office, what were the major successes and the major challenges you face in your first time in office?
Yeah, the major challenge there, every institution needs to be prepared to welcome that. If you are not prepared to welcome that, then you are not progressing. There is internal conflict. And internal conflict is something that is very, very sensitive, and it needs to be managed well. If not, I say damage, even if you are innocent, which is something very, very difficult to manage in this modern era. Social media, everyone is having access to sharing news, be it verified or unverified. Some will deliberately share information knowing that clearly this information is not accurate or is not verified. They may push it against you before you have a chance to clear yourself out. One of the major challenges in there. And at some point, I run to a stage wherein I don't want to delve directly into the problems that sometimes I love working according to time. If I said we need to buy a camera, we need to buy a camera in 1 week. If the camera is not purchased the very day before the time expires, if I have the means, I will pre-finance it, then I request for it, or I act upon it. Because I don't want a delay, I don't want, retard development, I want progress. And all of these, I was not using my name as backup for my name. If I do, when I face the media, I share my executive things. Only to cover the error, because I knew it is me, not Nyatantala. So this is why I was stepping on things like I give you to do it. If you can't, I step in. But I would never step in if you don't. First, you are given a task, you are given a timeline. And in whatever we are doing, that is one challenge in Africa, like working according to timeline. I give you a timeline and 1 week, sometimes I give them 3 days, depending on the nature of the issues that we are requesting for. After a meeting long, if we are taking decisions and the like, which is one of the major things from Kambarandi. When it comes to criticize, we will come out, speak boldly. But when it comes to bringing solutions or taking a decision, action, where are some of the challenges that is
Yeah, we will slowly delve deep into some of the challenges and then some of the major successes. You had 1 year in office, 1 year sort of in office, and also Safoko, Amameno Mbake, Alamoli, Commander of
agent,
which is annual general meeting, and the sports committee, team representatives from the Midla, Purka Pudul, Kachamialon, Koleta Meta Sanjiki. But first, Nara Kalamdako, the AGM, which was scheduled on the 29th of June, failed to progress. First, after ning AGM wala preparation o ning katanyani for janning abina to the failure.
It is disappointing that come amount according to power. That AGM in the first one was cancelled because of for internal conflict. We couldn't produce the report on time, and we begged for a second phase of it. We as in because we are forced to attend the AGM because it is We came in there, we produced, and during that AGM, there came something which is so surprising, so shocking, and so but not illegal and not unconstitutional, nor shouldn't it be, because it is necessary to happen. That is having financial report. And this area is having two financial reports. We will definitely come to that. So, but specific, internal conflict. Can you be specific? Yeah, if I'll be specific, is that there are some that have shown of being available when necessary. Some have challenges being available when their time is there to be in, deliberately abscond. Some were to go by the standard that is like meeting time prescribed, and also some at some point decided not to be much engaged as a challenge. I was acting on when necessary. I was acting on multitasking, and not only me. So ning conflict doka kemen la wolo mil nyanda ka minke ni make make but and no most don kono fala ni yanko fala they were helping me in doing that too because ngani min lo wolo min nyanda ka ni make mina malo so la danin ka malo so nka ko and wol nga ning ya mo fondo fala wodol fala ba fala min wol mu jimal la kala anen ka jiwe fo wala kenyina fo akta da fa bantani ado bi yenda hayna ko fa ka because to wonte bi ka on ko si jela mol. Okay, first to be in a sense media mutamoja male banda sa ko mol mi alon ko Brufut sa de ko ka Brufut sports committee Alagie la wato they were able to raise a lot of money dol ba fole ko up to 1.5 million natara ko wala sabatita Alagie na lam. Thank you so much. Wodol makang bisa ndamandela because I'm a trained fundraiser. At some point, I believe I have influence. I can influence people or persuade people to believe in what I think should be okay. And also, I do project writings. I have been working with other NGOs in terms of this, and I work with international communities, and I know how to tap funding. So in that, I set a strategy. The strategy is we will look at what is our strength. Mina muna sembo tila, and samina diba. So na sembo mo ning kenot. Niya na fence with fence or jamfara. That is Brufut, that's transit. Exactly. Okay. And also understanding the whole number. Now, commercial institutions, they always want to see quantity. Quality is their priority, but quantity is their main priority. So imagine if I am to go with one of the GSM companies in the Gambia, and I tell them I can get you a customer of 20,000 people who will be buying your credit. 20,000 people? And in a week, they can buy a credit of more than 5,000. Then there is a business in there. So these are some of the things in Gambia Pushikana. And I task our brothers, our uncles, our fathers in the diaspora that this year, this tournament will be named after you. We all knew we came from a system that is not welcoming. We all want to address that. So this time, we are going to make everything Brufut. We are going to internalize everything. So from the first one, I proposed us naming the knockout league after the Alcalo, or the Alcalo of the community, Sate Villa Alfala, Rukala, Keba, Diala, Adin Kalam, Falam, coming, Kununu, Adim funding calculator. But during my time, the Moroccan and I can funding funding Diala. Then I named the league after the diaspora, Brufut diaspora. Then the other one is we have a commercial institution here, Brufut. I was here, I came to Washington in the morning, then I told one of my members, in there, there's wealth in there, we are going to tap it. How is it? Let's go in there. Accept. So I explained to them, I want everything to be in Brufut. They are based in Brufut, they also chipped in. We named the Super Cup after them. So this is how we are able to raise money. And out of this strategy alone, we are able to raise about 150 plus. Because the Alcala gave us 50,000, the diaspora 30,000. So this is where people came in and took ownership. So from there, all any best fan clubs will win. So people now get it as it is a competition now. People will compete, players will compete in the field, while fan club will compete outside. It even dance praise songs elsewhere outside in the community just to come and contest. I met with different commercial institutions to convince them to sponsor us. Then from there, we were able to sign a contract with UNA, which worth 107,000. And also other people, then people take ownership of the problem, the progress. Now we are receiving people to raise funds. Then also the zonals where we won Senate second runners-up, we were able to achieve 80,000.
So this was how you were able to raise up to 1.5 million.
Yes.
Is that certain?
And team registration.
Okay.
Team registration, appeal fee. So it's a compilation of different activities that combine to raise 1.5 million. But it's important to note that 1.5 million was raised was still the same thing used to sponsor the sport committee's activities. And these less than 2% was used for administrative cost.
Much. Alagie, ya funun jenne ko alla AGM o alle minister non 29 failed to progress. Bari ya start ka fo jenne ko no altata jele kule fundire je ni alon ko ni afo mo jama ya se mo jama jahal. Wala nyinde ko chair ala activity financial report letara treasurer fanana financial report letara nada sabu team representative sol mang la nata for committee alta ale murung ali al house put in order pour nga ben ko tenke inem kudi faketa nata ko nyine keta mune a sabu financial report fula benta AGM.
Okay, financial report fula benta AGM because the audit department young contact who nana report will produce for the so I told them to be available because some of the donation that came in as wave donation now. So I walnut na minawala. I want you to be present. Put near county nyala. Isa je fenkana mankijela. Anin kana fenkije because ndaba ntere jibe kan ndaba ala jibe kan. Malla fi nafta alkiyama ala en kontibo ka folo kodol. That is my main goal in this. So now command the pro fela. I nanyin calculation ka nyala I verify. And any other document I may request. But he cannot join me to help me work this because audit department works neutral.
New wave codol, Jumale wave codol Yinki.
It came through one person, Bamfali.
Okay.
Yeah. So and they are all in there. He is even among the people who are so critical about my activities. But he never object the amount mentioned kwa mindina. I would never consume even an atom because Ali have a Quran فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَى and وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَى. Alkema ajana diata wel nambe nasungo milike nasalo minke nabata minge then am fon brandi mina miyala ko committee la kodindio that I am receiving more than on my personal job. I have my job, decent job. So when he was unable to join me, then the financial secretary report of the audit verify. The report of the audit my verify. Echo is late la. I didn't say anything la.
Audit office ko email report ni ima
verify validate here. Yeah, that's verify validate here. Okay. So kabri wakeda mpala mambala because now them come like they have right ima fenkeje because the report ning echo is late prior edit. Hence ima joining ka nampona kana kafuna kejela and in my report nankalijela. I vow that whatever is shared in there is a true representation of my memory, and if there is any challenge of Namin Fenkejela, let them bring it on. That shows that I am not 100% stick to Namin Fenkejela maximum law.
So audit office for coming email Fenko validate.
Yeah, or during the audit report, and everything was calm. But Imafonya come because audit report is hidden. You don't know it. So I don't know whether they accept it or not. AGM lala. Then I discovered Kabra Adi, Awan Fenkejela. So never final report in Nigeria because I need to report back to the people. This is one of the things Namium push when they then CRS, the CRC, excuse me, that is the draft constitution from Kogina. Whatever you receive, you need to submit. You need to report. You need to give an account of your activity. And sorry that Brufut more understand. Savla milba diamka kuola. Ima understand or imalefka understand. Because don't be me I understand. Then I gave a report, an account of my activity and my involvement, and not the entire.
But so, one. So before Albita AGM Dula, any audit office Kachara and also the treasurer Katandiko report of Bembulemi along Kanyanta Kalanyo can report. What was their response?
He requested me to send it to him. Okay, you be present while I do it. Ako, he cannot join me. That's the audit the department. Ako, he cannot join me because he cannot join me because if he joins, that means he is doing the job for me. Guy, no, you're not doing the job for me. I want you to be present. Manual calculating, I say, can I miss? And from there again, I give you any other document you want me request. This is a standard practice in auditing. I can stay back, I delete some of this information in the wave. He wouldn't know. I can deliberately produce other documents. But I want to perform that standard and accurate, not them, but Allah. That's how I do it in his presence, I think. And some of these activities, I must have mentioned them, I must have missed them when he can remember. But among joining can on a basis and they come like he should not join me to do it la Mambala.
At the time, for committee member Kalam Dalagon Tolu, we are going to the AGM with 2 documents.
No, not myself. Okay. Not myself would confirm that come like if we are going in there is going to be a conflict. I went there with open mind. I went there with pure mind that we are going to approach the AGM because I need to give accurate account of my report on the financial dealing. But unfortunately, what is being queried is that why is the chairman giving his report? And it may sound funny elsewhere. People may want to tender what they are doing. But my reservation there is I have directly involved in this. And I need to report why I did this. This is the only reason. So when we went in there, the reports were read, my reports were read, then the argument came that why 2 reports? When I verified this, the next topic that was raised is that why did the chairman become a spending officer? And you will want to know why I acted as a spending officer, not because I want to, but coming now from Committe, there are certain challenges that deadlines will come. One of them is, I will mention to you, the knockout final was supposed to play on Saturday. We were tasked to get a trophy, but this trophy, I contacted people to get us a trophy because I was completely not happy with how our expenditure were going. Because Kodo means spend a Sierra. We are spending money and I'm not happy with the way it is going. And I felt we need to control our...
At the time, for you feel like money was spending unnecessarily?
I felt wobijel and I felt some irregularities, which I communicated.
So meaning Committe Sabu Altata AGM or with 2 documents, probably chairman Maladula or Ladolfana Malachi.
Now I now reason that I want to represent my activity. I want to make it very clear that this is the amount withdrawn because could me withdraw because commentary young accused again this guy Kababajo came to our final. The JFF president, sorry that I mentioned his name, but I think I have to. I kodol dinner at the AGM again. I chapel at the AGM. I confirm 100% because that is false, is fabrication, and is untrue, which the audit department have verified. It's only investigation and I can verify, but not the audit accused me. The accuser told the audit the committee that this is what is happening. Then I mentioned in the group, let them set a competent investigative team to work on this. Some of this, it came at a very sensitive time in my life, but I accepted Puriyake. And when it was verified, it came out to be false. It's a fabrication, it's an allegation. So to run away from those, and I expect, and I know clearly, because since day one, my message to the financial secretary is that the only thing they will be interested with is going to be the financial report. We really need to be careful with it. Despite we have lapses in our executive, sometimes Nakasi help to calculate, verify certain errors with the famous word Puru AGM la terrain. And anyone that requested for this is available. You must have seen some of my activity reports in my Facebook post that I would make a mention of this is my activity that we have done. We have raised about this amount of money, and I sometimes even go public to open that people to criticize me whatever they have spot. I have done that several times on my Facebook. If I am a bad leader, let me not forget about bad leader. If I'm a bad person, now I will keep my position away. If I'm a bad person, if I am involved in corruption, if I am involved in anything that will seem like I want to brainwash the people, will I go on public to ask people to give me their open feedback on my Facebook? No. Will I mention that the amount I have helped to raise is in the group in there? No. But no will be open generally. And if people need out through the comment section. Nothing was deleted, nothing was modified. So I approached this AGM just to state clearly my activity involved in there, and I want to remain it clean. I want to remain open, and I'm open-minded with it. So later we were tasked that we need to compile reports la. Yeah, for the second AGM la. So unfortunately, the second AGM there were how do you call it, meetings in between for us to reconcile the issues in there. And my message is clear, and anyone that is watching this interview will see it. I said I am ready to join him to address it.
You are ready to join him? Who
yes,
is him? Who is
that
him?
is this defense secretary to have produced one report. But I cannot defend him if he brings in anything that is fishy to the public. And he will attest this. Another day again, there are issues. He is not happy with one of my activity. That is this shades that which I gave him a feedback, a command to instruct people because it is under their domain. But it took a while for Nil Katita, which I'm not happy with. Imagine a leader you see in he was helpful in my executive, I'll be honest with you. I tell you this financial secretary, he was so helpful in terms of administrative work. Mulamin Jata. I would be very, very honest. He was so helpful, especially when it comes to administrative work in comparing the previous government, the previous committee and the current committee and how to address with it, because experience is another degree for one to handle. He has worked with the committee with this, and he was so supportive in this, and he was really helping me, despite that we all knew, he and I know, there are members in the committee who are not ready to work, and he even confirmed that several times. So I would ask him to see what other things we'll be doing, and we are moving successfully. Until when this financial irregularities that I saw came up, when I flag it, I couldn't.
That is the financial secretary.
Yeah.
Also, you made mention of Model Bela Committee. Do you still have those people in Bela Committee?
Mbijele hanim bifong ma na page ko na jive kan Brufut people page la na jaba dia model ka kan mi yalan ko ngeju ben ka jelen kala faka dia nindi am taje comme sometimes one thing min kan batande wolon muka de nyaa ko yema ay naka ke I feel like truth need to be told. Me man kam faka wolon. There are people who are so much aware of what is really going on. Nungol killing the mad diamuda. Mimba caring sade ko na han fenta diamu kan dia manjana dia. But I am forced to an extent and kada group ko na dia diamuda. There are people that will come out. Some of those are even doing a revenge on me. Me alone. They are the same people who are still making that noise in there, and everyone knew they are from Konyina jail, and they make it look very bad on what is not even existing. With all due respect to Iba Fon Fending Faka, Yenda came with a cookie in Iba Mimfakam, Faber Mimfakam, if only I don't come and get to Yadi. But Nimwe of Faber Dialeva, Iba Minkelekan, is it worth it? Iba Mimfakam, Foto Yalumba, Iba Minkelekan, Minat Nebe Yakaseka Minketa. Brufut is bigger than only to focus on financial report. Miyalan among conclude. What we have done last year, if I was a native of, let's say, Inila Kumbe, Birkama, B. Alcalo can give me more than 100 by 100. If I do what I did in Brufut last year, if that was the same situation in Sukuta, not transform on what is happening in there, I am with confidence Sukuta people will celebrate me with, if statues are to be given, Ibakalat. If this was done in Serakunda, is Bakau, Banjul, elsewhere, the way the league was and what I was able to do in just 1 year, I will be celebrated as a hero.
Alagie, from the first AGM, Brufut Nkolo, Animal Miyalon Nakwebe Banta aren't happy with Alagie and the executive, one because it had AGM or with 2 financial reports. It a feel nyadi like Kabri border from that AGM, knowing that okay the team representatives Milial Noko will not a Kantel Lamo in a committee. We are very much disappointed. It a feel nyadi after the first AGM.
But before the AGM, before the first AGM, I foresee this. Now communicate group evidence are in my phone. Let us not allow our ego to disturb us. That the great job we have done to be spoiled on things matter. I will be assigning you to do your job, you are not doing it. You will be seeing issues to be addressed, you are not doing it. This is evident in there. From here, I will just show you the message. You are confirmed. I will not allow you to put it in the media because that group is our confidential area. But because of a journalist to verify, it is part of your job to verify and to get access to originality and original statements. I will allow that. I mentioned this in there. I foresee this. And even the financial secretary, I told him at some point I'm a believer I'm Muslim or I had a neta strict involved. But to a point that more than executive conflict. Mulamin is your right hand. Bayna nyum kuya ima mera mol fo man kalata man dalti wa pour kalku yandi ba.
So ni Mulamin kuyata.
I think I'll be a lot guys. Amaka na communication respond. Ninga communicate amaka respond. Ninga task amaka ke.
Communication kom nyadi telephone calls.
Official communications in our activities la.
Okay.
Amaka respond.
Okay.
Which at the point admit ako because na kamfandile, na disappoint le, and na ajikla tele. Wa na wakamfa be ba kono le wa na kamfata amaka respond wala. In which they now fire several times, and in fact even there was a time la na meeting do sado na kumol fota nyoko mi alanko ay nim sabake na ala boral waling ndiamate pour ye diama alon ko mi haponde sitano lo bara kana som pour mole dunati mala. I know how much you have done for this community just for only one transactions mi anko erota woman yanka hunt, but come diso nen setano sembo sorale, and to move very fast la to come here about this AGM, how did I feel? I felt very bad because I knew but I knew that this is going to the media and it will disturb Brufut people's chance of acquiring certain things because people went to a stage that they lost hope in Brufut activities. When I came in there, people were using some of the things like his honesty, his respect, his willing to learn, and his capability. These are what people will give you. You can go back to the community, get your feedbacks from my end before this saga comes in. They will tell you. So if I was able to convince people to come in due to this line, so who will they trust again to give this job until to accept them to invest in their hearts? So
you talk to many people in Brufut, okay. Committee la disagreement manyana the people of Brufut la insurance ransom wala ko ke bula kole ya ko nyen kono. Don't you think there is need pour kaje ko alaji na la committee yo e goal nyim put aside pour kaje ka Brufut la interest ni natina rather than pour katala.
There is 1 billion% need. The only thing naming emphasized in our meetings me and people in the meeting in there they can confirm. Nimba come for do ngara for na confirm for to an extent that at some point I even want to walk out. Some of these happened for me at the time I was even fasting. I think me happened. I said I am ready to join force with him. We go, but I cannot defend any irregularities. Me and Kanaba report Molia sport out. I would not defend in there by jail. I would not compromise with that because I don't want to compromise with my reputations. Some of these are in public, and if I want to defend him on those that means I'm a criminal, and I don't want to support that. I am ready to give it. So, work an argument, they will still insist a push jail and Nkata kuma senkan I come far willing. But now argument then last one of Minkata this one when we all agreed to write Fankola, when we came from the AGM, they asked us to team again to write our reports. Kabiya for them on spot, I sent him my report and my report is in the executive page. I sent to him, he did not acknowledge received of the message. I allowed him because he said he would get back to me. Until 1 day, 2 days before the AGM,
that was the first AGM.
No, this second AGM which was cancelled here, that we couldn't have a quorum because the team reps didn't come in number. Some are saying because the report came later. Some are saying no, they came, but unfortunately,
exactly for second AGM.
So we didn't announce the date on where date announced easily. What happened is the first door cancelled and then happened. Either Sangolketa or something happened. So you got to the following weekend. So in the following weekend, I believe they were meant to either Saturday or Sunday. So some are with it is going to be Saturday, some are with it is going to be Sunday. So poor communication category, I would accept my administrative lapses in that area that poor communications man will contribute that work at it. And the second part to say is the financial report came late on that one too.
So second AGM Cabral Katawala Atralia financial different financial reports reconcile.
I'm a reconcile.
Why?
At the first AGM, he said he is having a breakdown of his report. My reports that I did on my activity reports that was sent to the executive 1 week before our first AGM, according to how sent 6 days before the AGM. It should be one week. I was 1 day late. was sent and it was verified. It was seen by people in there, but the audit department did not acknowledge it. It's not verified. So it was checked, but it was not verified. On the AGM, the same report. And after the AGM, the same report now maintained. Though I have right to change it because there are some other things that were popped in to bring to my notice a committee which I pre-finance Rimajo, but market because I don't want to tamper with it until to the AGM again, which is going to come. So when we went back to address this issue, I sent with him. He communicated to me that he remembered I gave 3,000 to the finalists, Sanchawa, Nyaflen United and AC Milan, that the committee needs to refund me, but it might refund. So now, if I would agree that one of the activities which I did on this is worth 6,280. So let me withdraw that activity and use this 6,000 activity with Rajela, so that then because that contradicted his report. Address my report, which is already in public, that is capturing this. That means I have lied to the community. That means I have given a false report. So I think you need to add this that you mentioned on the report. Yeah, for his compensation, because he was there on sportsmanship behavior from a particular team, Mia Assault, he was compensated. We paid that on time, but Amake, I stepped in. I was not hunting them. If you fail to do what you need to do until deadline, and this deadline was given several times, if you fail to do it, I act on to save the sport project. So when he decided to want that to happen, that cannot happen. What I want is you report this and report any of your activity, because the committee is saying Hanin Brut na mankita mbajola. So telephone committee yanda kanjo minna Hanin Brut yanda kanjo. He no allow me. Sorry, I'm cutting you. I talk a lot. Sorry. Because you already you must verify no. But this is confirmed at the end when you mention someone is a witness to whom you have paid to do the job. That and again he said the job that was done is 2. Flanja onying aya woljo kantamende bijele. Then he said, okay. And how about now, if you accept that we can address that after the AGM. If we agree to address this after AGM, what will be the financial report next year on this 6,000? We gave the chairman at least 6,000. How are you going to verify it or activity doing? So it is not something I will be convinced. Okay, fine. Then we hang up. Then we did not discuss again until the last day. Tomorrow should be the AGM. This was a day before AGM. 2 days before AGM, Thursday, I need to verify it. Yeah. It should be either it's Thursday in the evening or Friday evening. But Friday also there was a discussion. And I cannot find it. I'm not trying to do selective justice. What happened on the Friday in the Wallong, then he sent in a message that then we are going to report the activity reports separately.
For the second time. For
the second time. Despite we are asked to go and compile it. And he came to the group. The audio is in the group. When this was done, we approached the phone call, but I didn't see the message earlier. Then I received a call from the chairman of the technical committee thanking me that we have seen the detailed report of the financial activities. So the defense may be now settled. If there is anything to happen, yeah, fine, no problem. All I'm thinking now is to resign. Because I think I have shown signs that I am not competent to continue. I have lost control of my phone call. I am polluted with this. All of these are too much to handle. And we will not accept that. That is the technical team from chairman. Bambo Boja. No problem. And these are the messages, even in our subgroup. If I talk about resignation, some would say you cannot resign in the midst of conflict.
Why do you want to resign? Mune you compelled to say, okay, love to resign.
Before you issue Fonka Fentinam phone, in the Cabin General phone, I tell them, even Bajabi, Jabi, one of the Brufut's greatest in terms of administrative. Now, I am only here for a short time. I don't come here to take this as a career. This is not my career. I said this to him several times. And my job is elsewhere. I always stay in here to put a system that is in place and continue. There was a day even, I think it's in Sunkaro or before Sunkaro Mafankara. I mentioned, is the committee preparing to look for my replacement? And they're like, please do, because I have little time.
Committee is trying to look.
No, I said let them.
Okay.
I'm tasking them, not they are looking.
Okay.
I task them to let them look for someone to replace me, replacement, or if I die, or if I get sick, or unable, or my job nature. But then often the same day, it was welcomed with so many things. You cannot resign and you cannot do this. Although there are some people, me along world, they are trying to retaliate or trying to go on revenge on certain things. Me along come like.
Exactly. At some point, they feel they are trying to retaliate because Mune know exactly.
Before
Mune feels girls.
A critic to my executive on whatever it comes in, especially when my name come in, and I enjoy it because I need to accept it. But this particular person, the Timo, was involved in using an eligible player. He appealed, and I'm unsuccessfully appealed. Because that team is a powerhouse, is a major team, is a very strong team, and to a team that will really going to give the committee the required revenue in the family. Unfortunately, rule is rules. So I am with the belief, but I'm with the belief that dissatisfaction is punishing me. He is punishing me with that dissatisfaction of bringing issues. Anything that has to do with Alagie's issue, he take it with a pinch of salt. But anything that has to go with controversy with Alagie, he is up in there. The other one we did, there was a primaries for the coach who should coach the zonal team. We following the same. Coming in primaries results in Nigeria, we vet it, and part of which I saw in is that the head coach, who is competent, who is of no doubt competent, that took Brufut to the first final in the zonal Fankonina. Per record, he has the best record of being a coach of our this modern days. He had won several trophies. If you go to head-to-head, I had done several places. And some other things which is personal to him, like I mentioned. So when we address on this, I told them, then according to this that I'm receiving, I'm going to decline his proposal and then accept Nina on executive order. When the executive agreed, it's true that Nina Funko verified and this is more credibility than him, we took him. And when we employed when we appointed Ibrahim Agay, everyone supported the move with his competence in terms of winning trophies, and his address, and it reflected until he took us to the final. So this guy too, I believe, what about Hong Kong again? He is never, not even at one point, I heard him saying anything positive about me. And I am not worried with that. He has to speak his mind, but he needs to be very, very critical in terms of criticizing. Be constructive with your criticism and be authentic, be accurate. And come out plainly and talk about things. And the other, what I got mean to who felt come like I think he felt at some point that he is unable and people are pointing hand at him, so he wanted to come out to pinpoint a standard to confirm himself at a thing. Like when everyone knew about him, you cannot be appointed to an executive position of which attendance in their activity dealings is less than 2%, which I sympathize him. I could have unlocked 4.5H, recommended for suspension and replaced because he's not competent, and people have found him. But because I knew I can play multitasking, give us the positive result, and we are moving in the right direction, I acted on that. But today he is up there in criticizing. These are the regular phases in that. The other people will criticize with valid point that the chairman should not be a spending officer, the chairman should not be involved in money positions.
Then you accept
I accepted. Like Manyankake. And I agreed 100%. I should not. Imagine from 22nd June until January, I was not involved in repairing this and other activities, PIU service fee, done on deadline. I bought the trophy. Before buying the trophy today, if he wants to insist, I will write to the police, call print out between me and him on this. I contacted him to purchase a trophy a day before the final because there was no trophy for the knockout final.
That was the financial secretary.
No. The head of the financial department. Impact his job, and I don't paid and he's a family man. So I called him. I informed him about it. He gave a go-ahead. Then from there, I refused to go ahead directly. I called the Secretary General, SG, who is a major arm in the executive. I made a video call to the trophies that need to be bought. He made a choice of the trophy that we need to buy. I bought the trophy and I shared the details. This is a day before the final. I cannot afford my executive to cancel a final because there's no trophy when there is a committee's money at hand. The first vice chairman didn't recover the trophies previously, which I am not happy. To blame them in there, I was angry internally. I didn't come in public. I went and purchased the trophy so that the final I play with the trophy. And the team that won the trophy and anyone that sees the trophy, we are happy with the trophy. Detailed, there is a receipt to cover it, will be all available. I should not be a spending officer, but there is a challenge. How can I say to myself, not for number one possible, because I was coming from a UTG traffic light. I refused not to work on Friday. It is going to be late. That's why I made that call and I shared this information. And this was verified by the assistant. And yet the audited report says that unjustified and the spending didn't go through that protocol. If I should call the financial head, need to be notified. And I called the secretary to confirm which trophy to buy. Is shared, and this is confirmed by the auditor. What more right procedure do I need to do? Do I need to say, financial secretary? This is a voluntary job. I can do it in there. So I said, wait, let me call the security to come and kill it when I can neutralize the snake. Several times I called on him to repair it. These are all evident. Coming at yet I repaired it on the day of the final. When UNA is coming, UNA sponsored this shades. If we don't, if they to forgive us, please, we couldn't do this, we breach the contract. No, this is why it was repaired on the very day of the final. To the in there again, I gave them a token to cover it. It is accepted, including the fuel coupon for our part of it, like with some other activities. Some of the activities that I have performed, me and Committe request, is more than $30,000. Even asking the group, will I receive payment of this? No one responded. To the final delay again, to this phone call, me and there's a difference. We are communicating again to compile this. He didn't. He came to the group. The financial secretary came to the group, and when there are this old because there I communicated that this is the report to compile it in there. I don't know what is the reason. So he came to the group and said he did not accept to come. So why am I to be blamed in this? And I made my stand clear. I'm ready to give and Hanim Moba executive come when a lion is wounded, even the flies will have the guts to lick the wound. But they knew everything about daring. So million could understand whether Diam control you know the truth and you are keeping quiet, all in the name of I want to remain neutral. I don't want to get involved deeply. I just want to wait until AGM. And media by pick, and today sadly the media pick.
Before we come to that, we will definitely come to that. As we speak, Allah reports on a reconciled going to the next Congress.
I would wish I reconcile, because imagine an activities an expenses of 1.3 million, only $6,280. The financial report will satisfy what I'm mad on. When I have the committee to pay me more than Mianko is confirmed is $11,000. Reform is confirmed, but he's not satisfied or convinced. Let me not say not satisfied. It's the same word. Among convinced, Bruka no will accept. Of 1.3 million activity is done, but this $6,280 among satisfied.
How will you convince an outside? Okay, Brufut Youth and Sports Committee 1.5 million.
Yeah.
but saying
more is
mol ka kodo nyine ka wo kodo nyin spend nyadi le be president wona nyine ka
sure.
Are you very much opportune to some of the major spendings and in
absolutely 100%
kodi jamale fan kodi jelle be larim to food sports
mimbanti nyakandro wolon people know the truth, they don't want to speak the truth. Doliana mimu to nyati ye banka to nyafo doliana mimbi le wolon mala mi la intention but ale mo min senanko hani e poto fe aka abula jele ala neta mo kula ay fenke jeto ni saga mbele katale andunte I am 100% confident. You know my job, I don't need to mention so much about my job. I am satisfied with what I am receiving. Nimma soto I accept na mo dani wala na mo donto hani kila sallallahu alaihi wasallam ayakele and coming to mom mandifo you will see how free I am because han kila sallallahu alaihi wasallam ya toku yalla kan ndey mujumati moy ke hani woli of modifo pour na bodu gola. It's very big, 1.5 million, and among come like Yadimula 1.5 million. But we forgot to believe that some of this I called them wave. We could have secured a $1 million a project with them because they are giving 2.2 to institutions per annum. You sign with them 5 years, there is already 1 million or 1 million plus in that. GNPC is an institution, it's a commercial institution where they are ready to team up with us. You talk about APS. These are institutions that are given. APS Lefanco, when it was announced here, it was posted by even Watson Gambia, where it was like almost 1 million was disposed to Lefanco. We are going to have the opportunity to receive several, and I allowed them to do the work. Willing fund the world. So this is why I activated the button. Nimi market. The world. It's evident that only mere phone call, will them fund it to secure 100,000. Evident. So we are not graduate. So you come into the amount in this. Our cash price that we gave, Brufut were really 40,000. Maximum number remember in Brufut was 60,000, and that was done. Then from there on, Akapia, even last season, it was less than 50,000. Mean the cash price and the like. We raised it to price winners for the league, and we gave 50,000 for runners up, in which I strongly debate with my executive to accept me paying 100,000. I was crying for 100,000, but it never materializes. We gave 7, which I agreed later. 75,000 plus 50,000 is 125,000. Deduct that. I think 35,000 or 30,000. Let me just use the minimum denominator, which I will be comfortable with. 30,000. 30,000 plus 50,000, it is 80,000. So 125,000 is going to give you somewhere around 200 something thousand. Then from there on, we play 76 games. Like if my mind can give me fully memory for the league, and 26 or 29 games for the knockout. Each of these games we pay the referees 1,400. Sometimes there are 2 games played. You calculate this to this, it will give you somewhere around 200,000 or 300,000, which was paid on referee expenses. If you compile this, already 500,000 clear. So now let's go to the 1 million mintage sign. We talk about medals. We bought medals for this finalists. 70 medals were bought, for which a new account is going to give you around 15,000 plus. You talk about our 50,000 given to the teams for compensation. You add already you have
50,000 did that team.
50,000 these people the zonal team players for taking us to the final.
That was prior to the final.
Prior to the final, yes. Okay. So these are all part of the expenditures. Okay. So in the expenses, the financial sector expenses, it went to like 1.3 million. Naming spent on committees activities. So we have at our account currently 192,000. Pending with that 27,000, of which 23,000 from the 50,000 may withdraw for another activities. New attack and we are going to have 200 something thousand. So to say that Kona embezzle, with all due respect, despite he is not happy with me currently, now he has recovered because in the at times now. Little difference, he will also communicate me with the same thing, but the problem is addressing that 6,000 in there out of 1.3 million, which I told him clearly, I'm ready to defend you, I'm ready to compile my results with you, go to the AGM, if you're able to, which at some point I believe there are loopholes, but I will not support them because it's my executive. I will be held responsible for that. So I will allow, if it is sin, then I defend. I told him if he can defend it, he said he can defend himself. In the public, in terms of hiding this, I'm not hiding a criminal, but I am allowing the public to go through authentic report. That's why I asked for him to bring the details, and they asked him to bring. If they saw it, if he can claim, if he can defend, let him defend. I cannot defend him to say he have done an act which is illegal and I defend him. No. So near calculation GB, just little I know 10 allowed, but I mean calculate it's already more than 700,000 near calculation of GB. Like other activities come like camping fees and the like. Sometimes we chip in but means shades the building come other amount means spent a euro. You talk about paral mbejoka mina beginning monthly joka no later 5 million includes gate takings. So nil benima understand no. So I didn't know if the near jube activities me I can count on my off head. To be honest with you, I didn't go into that report in there, but I can tell you up to like 900,000 of transactions being performed. So then previously I informed the executives with regard to this. I informed they are listening, they will watch this. Perhaps about Jamfala, but they will watch. Please come before it is too late. Some of them will tell me change them, some of them will tell me just alter compare, some of them will warn me please some point for even the executive I will remind them that do you know I can how to call it, expel you acting on Hitler, that's a suspension and recommend for replacement, which I send in I don't want to go in there, came up boldly and said settle in the which there are evidence that they deserve not to continue, but like I don't want to activate that in there. Some of them had a great I have as a chairman due to understanding my role as a chairman, due to understanding my I sympathize them.
How will you convince somebody, an outsider, me along the believe less Alagie Nala Mole 1.5 million raise and 1.5 million you will embezzle?
With all honesty, 1.5 million is not embezzled. The details are in there, the reports are in there, they can go through it. It's really expensive. I sympathize Molamin that he is going to defend that amount. I sympathize him, wallahi, knowing the fact that if he agreed to work with me, let's compile this using who should be in there to assess him on this was not available. So at some point I was doing this, at some point he will even raise question, is it that let's have this.
What type of an AGM are you foreseeing on Saturday?
I foresee that there is going to be a conflict, is how to call it. No. Conflict in a sense, people would come with different mindset. People would will come in there, may want to reserve their comments like they are doing, and others will come in there solely with the name Alkia Monta Kanala Alala. Kaburo Kono Santani. I am not that type of person. Instead, I happily spend money on so many activities in the committee. Me and Mo will claim. So the ones naming remember no left confirm that right now I'm in confess about 11,000. Me and Kenta Kumurunkan. And some of these, even the referee company, it was not paid until the last day. Some of these, which some will even call it as undermining your power. If you think you are trying to undermine this executive power, I will step in. Anyone that fails to do your job, I would do this executive work. So and Alhamdulillah, what financial report conflict happened in first AGM. No one is a believer of this product had happened. Instead, some are even labeling our league last year. Some would even arguably said this has been the best league Brufut naming host. So with all that, will I be the one that would kill myself? When people have seen the truth, some decided to ignore ndamaka WhatsApp ndamaka diam WhatsApp group o kono maka fenga tan but inya bala wonde dingo toba tu nyakan inya their own gain. Some perhaps they are eyeing the seat, they want to come in there, but then you terms to serve minimum and then 4 years later. Or if I am competent enough, if I'm not competent, deemed not necessary, not fit, and not having this in came, someone comes in, amanke kam ojo in instead ikila kolol keje and ila time we call us invest je
time o tata bake bela fela nunka continue ka kacha but atara ko ye kuma laban so tebe min fola Brufut. You talk to many on the streets of Brufut will tell you, okay, chairman ni mo lamin la issue wala ben na sports nyimbe murundi kan koma nyinke na tara ko chance to sign them pour ka diam Brufut ko la ni milbe Brufut go 1.5 million raised and then kodoning embesulta. What is going to be your final statement?
My final statement to them, I would prefer looking at the camera directly. In the matter, nindo ko caring, dia ku ya molba tra dia ku ya molje mi ankata kontanle do ko na do ko na minke serum manjante abe because ndafo na banjantol bar mul nyaajele kuma ko ba foka molbe ba diamu kan asake no e mala fina nyadan ko yalla waka kele hanen kila sallallahu alaihi wasallam atodal mi yalan ko man songa le fen ko hanin kabirin ali afo kara but hands are moli aban jedel watandi ko there are people who are not happy with his work. They don't want him to be the seal of the prophet. Makam not Makam Ibrahim akafo near fen ko gal ala hako boni jerla mina nga mara konto bakeren drong so place la mi yalon ko aba min hamekan nin ipere salole ka duwaran kumo nkana sapa kan nen sembola ni do ko di mola illa moyala abal samba kan nyamin an kake aba kelale and fon fen foto aba folale and fon fen ni nyalan ka fokan ko mo fokan takana do tulo e wo moy so man mbam fonction ka ta mo le wonda jibelo kan fa faw aba hako soto layya asitano aya fo do ko tan kala junubo soto ite min fole afa junubo la fa ke fon kanjel on that note la to an extent that agenda jele I will set an external auditor to audit the affairs of even a media house will come and pick information ka fintindi mi anko they have right to verify they have klom e kanyi nin karo kila yasana baniya kuma kuma fintindi ma kendeng ya fintindi min kana e min manta man ben nimil lava ka finding case also of what is happening in Brufut kana body any media number whatever media come I am open to media and there are people who are open to media and I am ready to give a fair content to this because na fi fen info gramal kathibi ba safe kanne ala tulobo na kumulala anu nola Brufut is here to stay. Brufut sport is here to stay. Brufut football is far open in there. Our credibility is in question right now, but we are the same people nyanda ka aksenendi ndele adoku ndele toti nyada andele kilomita. Contact me, I will meet you if possible to meet you, or come to me, I am available. I would never turn down any media interview on this, and there are investigative journalists in this country. Let them come and investigate this. If I am found liable, if I am found incompetent, if I am found to break the law, thank you so much for being patient to come here and listen to Indiam Jamala. Alnan Sabari, Alnalanko Dokuo. Aning boy bari mba fon fen fola jetula natanin to nyala dron anna samba nyamal em free soti ya moy masena ndi yafo amoy ay sene bari yafo ballon wonde do mallon wonde kotollon wonde kem ila ndabi taw la nyimboy ko le ita bisalla aning ana nyagodol wala ko kama don bir kamon kol alna la tole ya bandala nga alta yinkera ala baraka baka albadi malam Alagie Suwareh Chairman Brufut Transport Development Committee.
Thank you very much. Dron kajay wolem Alagie Cherno Suwareh bi wularo nata taman wala tele pour kaje kon nase kacha ka Alagie Cherno Suwareh ka tentu bake ka jay ka Brufut kol fanan tentu bake ke jay ani momo mi yalla nakoy be tabatirim Brufut ba janni mbita ka mol hakilo bulandi ko Brufut la AGM mimo annual general meeting de mi yalla ko la youth and sports committee be wala kala binala sibiti lo be wakato nyimbe kala pour kaje kamabe pour isaje ko to kamala ka mol tentu bake ka mol jay ka fale dron ko albe bulakan LSTV wala no mal nal badi malen parliament fati kal tentu bake kal jay ka Cherno Suwareh tentu bake ka mala dron nga fale al nimbara la barka fo wati ko ten